If you are shopping around for a new home, there are some new mortgage regulations that could impact you. Financial expert Andrew Poulos is here to walk us through it all this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Megan.
So Fannie Mae made these changes recently, right? Walk me through what they are exactly.
They did. We've got three changes. First are the debt-to-income ratios changing, increasing from 45 to 50%, which effectively are pre-recession level DTIs. The way they're going to compute student loan debts for mortgage lending purposes have changed now, more in favor for those who have student loans. And then, of course, tax liens and civil judgments will be dropping off, and in the future probably will not be getting reported any longer on credit reports.
So we'll get to that one in just a moment, but let's start with the debt-to-income ratios. How does this affect home buyers?
Well, home buyers, consumers, obviously, this is very important for all consumers, no matter where they live. If they're looking to purchase, the fact that you have 5% more in debt-to-income ratio means that you have 5% more of your gross income that is allowed for debts between your housing payment that may be, along with any other debts that are reported in your credit report. So effectively, what this means is 5%. Let me just give you a
Sure.
brief example. Someone who earns $4,000 a month gross, the difference in 5% is $200. Now, $200 may not be seem like a lot, but it could mean the difference between purchasing a $200,000 house or a $240,000 or $250,000 house.
Sure, it adds up.
And it adds up. It adds up basically in how much you can purchase, which means potentially where you want to live, right? One neighborhood versus another.
Oh yeah, that could be a deal breaker, especially in Metro Atlanta.
Absolutely.
You know, you're speaking to a lot of people for sure. Let's talk about the credit bureau removing tax liens from credit reports if incomplete, right? Is that the case?
Correct. There's 4 pieces of reporting information that's required. 3 out of the 4 must be reported, meaning your name, complete name, address, social security number, and date of birth. Oftentimes, these pieces of information are not reported correctly or incomplete as they reported. Now, under the regulations, these are going to drop off. Anyone who has an existing tax lien or civil judgment will potentially drop off, which will affect their credit score positively, and in the future, they may not be getting reported as well.
Let's talk about using retirement funds while you're applying for a loan. Is that something you can do, and what's the proper way to do it? And you recently actually made a presentation to Congress about this.
Correct. So what the Internal Revenue regulations allow, the Internal Revenue Code allows, is a distribution up to $10,000 currently from a retirement account, tax-free, meaning tax-free, penalty-free. So if you want to pull out $10,000 from a retirement account to use as a down payment as a first-time home buyer, you certainly can, which is a good way to come up with a down payment. Yes, I proposed to the Senate Finance Committee, Senator Orrin Hatch, if they have tax reform, that they address this issue. $10,000 used to be sufficient for a lot of folks to be able to purchase a home and use that as a down payment. With rising prices in Atlanta and across the country, that barely may be 2 or 3% now, so I actually proposed that they increase it to $20,000.
Have you heard any feedback yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Of course, we haven't got tax reform just yet.
Sure. All right. Well, you're putting it out there. Just, bottom line, what are some of your main tips for people applying for a loan? If they've never gone through it before, this is something new to them. What do you think, especially with these changes, what's the most important to take away?
Correct. Most important things is to start early. Don't look at purchasing a home and not being prepared, meaning the first thing you need to do is probably look at your credit report before you even go to a lender to get pre-qualified. Oftentimes there's things that are reported that you may not be aware of, which could be impacting your credit report negatively, so you may need to do some work to get things cleared up. So I always recommend to clients probably 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year before you're looking to purchase, check your credit report out, see if everything's okay. Then step 2, get pre-qualified with a lender that you feel comfortable with. If you're self-employed, it gets way more complex because of the documentation required. So have your documentation in order, and then finally, when you get to the final point, find a good realtor that fits your needs so you can find that right home.
It all goes back to doing your homework before
Yes.
you get to that point. All right, Andrew, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. I know this is a lot of information. We're getting it all posted on our website. You can check it out anytime on CBS46.com.